Hello everybody, Wild here. Before I start, I would like to encourage everyone to try out our new game, Super Combat Squadron. The demo is out and we're really looking for feedback to push to full release. The play links are in the description and let me know what you think about it. Anyway, Phaser 3 is starting to mature and I thought what a better way to start making tutorials on Phaser 3 than starting with one of the most exciting things, that being 3D cameras and effects. So in this episode, I will be going over how to set up a 3D scene and other things that you can do. We are going to get started by getting the 3D camera plugin from the Phaser GitHub. 3D support was moved in 3.12 to its own plugin because most people make 2D games, so it's not really worth to pack it in Phaser if it's not even going to get used by most people. So go into the Phaser GitHub, go to plugins, and there's the Camera 3D plugin. Download that and put it in your project's directory. So let's get started with the actual code. So what I have here is an index file which holds some boilerplate code which we'll use to get started on our Phaser project. And the first thing we want to do is actually include the camera plugin. So we'll do that just right below where we include our Phaser file. Do camera 3D. And there's one more thing that we have to do in order to initialize the plugin. So we go down in our preload function, and in here we have to do this.load.scene plugin, and the first argument is the key, so camera 3D plugin, and the second argument is the path, so camera 3D.js. The third argument is going to be the same as the first one, so camera 3D plugin, and the fourth is going to be our mapping. So basically, how are we going to reference this plugin in our application? So we'll just set that to camera 3D. So now let's go ahead and actually initialize the camera into our game. So let's go ahead and create a variable which will hold our camera, so our camera. And down in our create function, we're going to initialize it. So we can do camera equals this.camera 3D, which we're calling from up here. And we're going to do add, so add the camera. And through here, we have to pass in a field of view. We'll set it to 80. And the cool thing about Phaser 3 is that you can chain functions to each other. So everything's kind of modular. So we can do .set position, and this 3-axis, we'll set it on the x-axis to null, y to null, and the z to 200. So that way it's kind of backwards facing the sprite that we're going to have. So talking about a sprite, we're going to go ahead and create that sprite. So we'll do var sprite up here, and we're going to define our sprite in the create function. So we can do sprite is alright, so now we have to set up a 3D sprite which we can do using the camera plugin. So we can do camera.create, and we need to pass in 3-axis. We'll set it to null null null, so that way it's in the middle of the scene. We need to pass in the key. So I'm going to load in an image which will represent our sprite. I'll do this.load.image. It's just like in Phaser 2. My image is of a mushroom, and we need to pass in the path as well. So assets mushroom.png, and I'll just pass that in through there. Alright, so that's our sprite. So now let's go ahead and get started with the camera movement. So let's add the arrow keys. So we'll do var cursors, and we'll initialize that in our create function. We'll do cursors equals this.input .keyboard. Let me move that up. Keyboard.create cursor keys. I think that's right, yeah. And now let's go in our update function and actually move our camera using these these arrow keys. So down here, we're just going to do if cursors.left is down. So if the left arrow is being pressed, we want to move the camera on the x-axis by some kind of constant. So let's actually go ahead and create a constant which is going to be our camera speed, so that way we can change it easily in the future. So we'll do var camera speed, and in our create function we're going to set that to 1. We can change this later depending on how fast you want the camera to move, but for now we'll set it to 1. So let's put that in there. Let's do the same thing for the right arrow key. So if right is down, we want to do the same thing except add it, so that way it moves to the right. And now we want to do the forwards and backwards movement. So we can copy this and do if cursor's up is down. So if the up arrow is being pressed, we want to move on the z-axis, so that's forwards. Okay, but what if we want to move upwards? So not forwards, just upwards, because we are in a 3D world. So let's go ahead and we'll use the shift key. So when the shift key is being held and the up arrow is being held, we want to move up. So inside of here, say if cursors.shift is down, then I want to move upwards, so that's on the y-axis. Do camera.y minus camera speed. Okay, and we'll just put else here, so that way if shift is not being pressed, we'll go forwards. Alright, so now we'll do the same for the down key. We can just copy paste this, replace it with down, and switch the pluses and minuses. So if we try out the game right now, we can see that we have our sprite in the middle, and I can move using the arrow keys. And if I press the shift key and press up and down, you can see that I can move up and down. So what we've done is we place the sprite and move the camera. The sprite itself doesn't move, however, it's just the camera that is projecting the sprite. The sprite stands completely still, and using the camera's position and the sprite's position, it can calculate what we see. This has been it for this episode. There might be a part 2 where we go into more detail, but considering my upload schedule, that might take a while. So thanks for watching and subscribe for more videos. Till next time.